Thank you so much for attending my PowerPoint presentation on every power in Bloons TD6 explained. It has come to my attention that most of you navigate this game with the tactical nuance of a lobotomized hamster, so I've been forced to compile this data into a format even you might comprehend. Powers are single-use consumables for those who lack the cognitive capacity to beat a map with strategy alone. These are the descendants of special agents, and if you use them correctly, you might actually see a victory screen for once. We begin with Time Stop, the ultimate I forgot how to play button. For the low price of 50 monkey money, you can slow all balloons to 10% movement speed for 10 seconds. If you were smart enough to invest in the longer Time Stop monkey knowledge, it lasts for 15 seconds. This power is for the reactive player who realizes too late that a DDT is about to end their miserable run. The problem is that you aren't just slowing the balloons, you're actually slowing yourself. Non-Paragon towers attack 40% slower. It's a defensive crutch. Since version 27.0, it will make BADs move at 10% speed, which is the only reason this power isn't a complete waste of space. Use it when you need breathing room to buy an upgrade your slow brain missed 5 rounds ago. Next we have the Banana Farmer, a tower for those of you who find the act of moving a mouse cursor across the screen to be a Herculean task. It costs 50 monkey money and has a 60 unit radius. With the Fit Farmer's knowledge, that increases to 72 units. Its only job is to collect the fruit of your labor because you're too busy staring blankly at the screen to do it yourself. In a farming strategy, this is essential. Without a farmer, you will inevitably miss bananas and lose income, which is a fitting punishment for your laziness. It also collects crates and balloon traps. At 50 monkey money, it's a bargain for the quality of life it provides. If you aren't using these, you are either a masochist or you simply enjoy being efficient. The pontoon is a floating platform for people who realize too late that water-heavy maps actually require planning. It costs 50 monkey money or 40 if you bother to unlock budget pontoons. It allows any land-based tower to sit on water. This includes banana farms, which is a concept that usually confuses the average player. On maps like Spice Islands, the pontoon is a necessity because the land is a finite resource your strategy probably squandered. It's highly map dependent. If you're using this on a land-heavy map, please stop playing the game and throw out your phone or computer. It's a strategic tool for creating space where none exists, making it far more sophisticated than the people currently watching this video. Road spikes are literally trash you throw at the end of the track when your defense leaks. You get 5 piles for 50 monkey money and each pile pops 20 balloons. If you have the just one more knowledge, it goes up to 21. It can pop lead balloons, making it a pathetic but foundational safety net for the early game. The pre-game prep knowledge gives you these for free every single round, which is the only way you should ever be using them. If you're actually spending monkey money to manually place spikes, your economy is as broke as your spirit. It's a cheap insurance for small leaks. If you're leaking more than 100 balloons, these spikes won't save you anyway, and frankly, you don't deserve to be saved. The glue trap is a sticky monument to your inability to control the flow of the game. For 50 monkey money, you get 2 traps that slow up to 300 balloons by 50% for 30 seconds. If you have the supersized glue trap, it actually slows Moab class balloons. A Moab eats 10 charges, while a ZOMG eats 50. It does not work on bads or bosses because those entities have standards. It's a solid tool for slowing rushes, and it stacks with other slowing towers. If you find yourself constantly overwhelmed by ceramic rushes, this is your expensive way of admitting you built your towers in the wrong places. The Moab mine was recently buffed in version 46.0 because even the developers realized how useless it was in your hands. It now deals 5,000 damage to up to 10 Moab class balloons. With mauling Moab mine's monkey knowledge, that damage hits 6,250. It can re-hit the same target after a 1-second cooldown, which is actually quite efficient for something that costs only 50 monkey money. The damage only hits the outer layers, so don't expect it to clean up the mess inside. It is a surgical tool for chunking down a ZOMG though when your actual towers are failing to do their one job. Before the buff, it was a joke. Now it's one of the best value powers in the shop. If you're not using this to survive round 80, you're probably just waiting for the game over screen to end your misery. I'm interrupting this technical breakdown to offer you a chance to prove you aren't a complete burden on the player base. If you've managed to follow along this far without your brain leaking out of your ears, you should consider subscribing. It's the only way you'll continue to receive this expert level analysis. If you choose not to, I can only assume you prefer remaining in the dark, struggling to beat beginner maps on easy mode while the rest of us actually progress. Subscribe now to prove you have a glimmer of potential. The Camo Trap is a 50 monkey money admission that you forgot camo balloons exist. You get 2 traps and each one strips the camo from up to 500 balloons. If you have the bigger Camo Traps monkey knowledge, it reaches 600. It's a niche power for people who don't understand how monkey villages work. Experienced players build camo detection into their defense from the start. If you're clicking this icon, it means you're in a state of panic because a camo lead is slowly drifting towards your exit. It's a functional emergency tool for beginners, but relying on it is a sign of tactical bankruptcy. Use it if you must, but do so with the knowledge that I'm judging you for every single charge you consume. Portable Lake is for the player who wants to put a boat in the middle of a desert. It costs 50 monkey money and it allows water-based towers like the Sub and Buccaneers to be placed on dry land. The strategy here is actually quite high, which is why most of you will never use it correctly. You can place a Sub with advanced intel in a spot that covers the entire map, or use Admiral Brickle on a map that has no business hosting her. It's a game-changing power on land-only maps, and if you have the brainpower to use it, you might actually earn my respect. But let's be honest, you're probably just going to put a single 0-0 sub in it and lose anyway. The Techbot is a 50 monkey money replacement for your slow reaction times. You link it to a tower and it automatically triggers the ability as soon as it's ready. If you have ambush tech, you can even set it to trigger only when balloons reach a specific point. It's a massive quality of life improvement for those of you who find clicking a button every 40 seconds to be too mentally taxing. For ability-heavy strategies like using Homeland Defense or Overclock, this is extremely helpful. It ensures you never miss a beat. Automation is the future after all, and since your manual performance is lackluster, the Techbot is your only hope for peak efficiency. It's essentially one of the most valuable powers for advanced play, provided you can remember to actually place it. Thrive is an underrated economic stimulus that costs 70 monkey money. It increases all income by 25% for 2 rounds, including pops and banana farms. With Super Thrive knowledge, that bonus is 30%. Using this during high income rounds maximizes the return. It's a good way to accelerate your farming. It requires you to think ahead 2 rounds, which I realize is a lot to ask for this audience, but if you want to maximize your greed, use Thrive. It's cheap, efficient, and far more clever than simply buying your way out of a deficit. The Energizing Totem is apparently the least used power in the game, which is a testament to the collective ignorance of the player base. For 80 monkey money, it increases the attack speed of all towers in a 54 unit range by 25%. It lasts for 5 rounds and can be recharged for a measly 20 monkey money. A 25% speed buff is massive for high DPS clusters. If you put this next to your primary defense, it's effectively like adding a 3rd tower for free, but because it requires you to remember to recharge it, it's been abandoned by the community. If you're not using it, you're leaving damage on the table, which is typical. The Super Monkey Storm is the I give up button that costs 100 monkey money. It deals 4,000 damage to every balloon on screen. With Powerful Monkey Storm, it hits 5,000. It was buffed significantly in version 46, likely because Ninja Kiwi saw how many of you were dying on round 63. The damage does not soak through Moab class layers, so it only hits the outer shell. It is a panic button for massive waves of regular balloons. If you find yourself using this more than once a game, you haven't actually built a defense, you've just built a sequence of failures. It's impactful, yes, but relying on 100 monkey money consumable to beat around is an admission of tactical defeat. Monkey Boost is essentially steroids for your towers. For 100 monkey money, it doubles the attack speed of every tower on the map for 15 seconds. If you have longer boosts, it lasts 20. It's an incredibly powerful power when your screen is full of towers and you're facing a fortified BFB wave. It's a temporary doubling of your entire army's DPS. Using it during round 98 is often the difference between a win and a pathetic exit to the main menu. It's one of the strongest powers because it scales with your current defense. Of course, if your defense is already trash, doubling it just gives you twice as much trash. Use it wisely, or don't, I'm not the one losing the game. The Cave Monkey is a secret power added in Update 50, and getting it requires more effort than most of you have put into anything in your entire lives. You have to hit the frozen ice on the frozen over map 80,000 times with mortars or area attacks. Once unlocked, it costs 150 monkey money to place. It deals a pathetic one single layer of damage, but it has a stun effect. It's a novelty, an Easter egg. Its damage is so low it might as well be throwing harsh language at the balloons. Its only value is the stun utility on blimps and the fact that you can brag about having it. It's a fun collectible for people with too much free time, but as a practical power, it's a relic in more ways than one. The Banana Farmer Pro is what happens when you take a lazy concept and make it efficient. You unlock it by earning 10,000 XP through buying and using normal farmers. It costs 100 monkey money per use, but it has 75 units of range and double the collection speed. The real prize is the Path 1 Tier 3 upgrade, the Robo Farmer. This thing collects bananas from anywhere on the map. It's the ultimate tool for the greedy and the lethargic. It makes boss events trivial because you no longer have to interact with your farms at all. It requires a significant investment of monkey money and XP to unlock, but for those of you who find mouse movement offensive, it's a priceless upgrade for your laziness. We've reached the cash drop, the most popular power in the game, which tells me everything I need to know about your skills. It costs 200 monkey money to give $2,500 in-game cash. If you have budget cash drops, it's 180. It's the most expensive standard power because it allows you to bypass the fundamental challenge of the game, which is managing your money. Ninja Kiwi says it's the most used power. Of course it is. Why learn how to farm when you can just pay 200 monkey money to buy a key tower on round 1? It's a crutch for half cash mode and boss events. It's effective, certainly, but using it is a direct correlation to your inability to play the game as intended. It's the literal definition of paying to win. The Super Monkey Beacon is the most expensive power for a reason. You unlock it with 12,500 XP from Super Monkey Storms. It costs 400 monkey money, which is a steep price for someone with your limited budget. It's a placeable tower that gives you a repeatable Super Monkey Storm on a 180-second cooldown. If you take Path 1 to Tier 3, the Reverberation upgrade fires an extra storm that becomes stronger. It's absurdly strong for late game scenarios. It turns a one-time panic button into a permanent orbital strike system. It's a power for the elite, or at least those who can afford it. The Sword of Protection is a crossover power from the She-Ra event. If you are on the standard version, it's part of a real monkey skin pack. If you're on BTD6 Plus, it costs 500 monkey money. It summons a sword that fires balls of light at balloons. It's a novelty item. It's more of a cosmetic statement than a tactical necessity. It's fun for the fans of the show, but in terms of efficiency, there are much better ways to spend 500 monkey money. It's the definition of style over substance, which I'm sure appeals to many of you. Battlecat is another crossover, this time with the Masters of the Universe. It's locked behind a real money paywall. It acts as a tower that attacks balloons and has an ability that transforms it into Battlecat for 3 rounds. This form deals more damage, strips Camo, and knocks back Moab class balloons. It's a reasonably strong power, especially since it has no per use limit in Odyssey mode, but because it costs actual currency, it's a luxury for those of you who want to flex your bank accounts in a monkey game. It's a flashy, loud, and unnecessary addition to your arsenal. If you're spending $5 on Battlecat, you are beyond my help. Next, we have the Havoc Staff, Skeletor's gift to the incompetent. This is arguably the strongest premium power in the game. It stuns up to 5,000 balloons on the screen for 4 seconds. It does this 3 times after short delays, all while ghostly hands drag them into oblivion and generate cash. It's a 12-second pause button that also pays you to use it. Added in version 51, it's the ultimate get-out-of-jail-free card. It destroys balloons and refills your wallet while you sit there and wonder how you almost lost to a bunch of balloons. It is powerful, yes, but it also is a reminder that some of you are willing to spend real money to avoid the consequences of your own poor decisions. It's the final slide of the presentation because it represents the peak of power-based crutches. Thank you, and subscribe!